Hi folks, it's Richard from Inclusive Driving. Why is it that learners can do something perfectly one week and then by the time they come to their lesson the next week, they seem to have forgotten it? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about that. So we've got to define what is learning. What does it mean when a learner has learned a skill? Well, it means that the knowledge and information necessary to carry out that skill, let's say do a roundabout, is in their long-term memory. When they come to do the skill, so as they approach the roundabout, if they have learned how to do roundabouts, they're able to recall or retrieve that information from their long-term memory into their working memory. And it's the working memory that is the present, it's the now. So as I'm thinking about what to say on this video, I'm bringing information from my knowledge base, from my long-term memory, into my working memory so that I can then think about what words I'm going to say. Learning requires things to get stored in long-term memory. And when a learner comes to their lesson the following week and we suddenly discover they can't do roundabouts anymore, even though last week they were doing them perfectly, there's generally two reasons why that might be happening. First of all, it might be that the information didn't actually get into long-term memory. It was only in working memory. So think about how you might assist a learner, maybe the first time they're doing roundabouts. We're prompting them, aren't we? Or we're using some kind of coaching to guide them. And so we're planting seeds in their working memory. And when they do the next roundabout in the same lesson and the roundabout after that and the 50th roundabout in a row, all that information is still in their working memory. So they know what to do. They know how to do roundabouts. Come the following week though, has that information that was in their working memory last week actually made it into their long-term memory? Maybe it hasn't. If they're struggling to do roundabouts and it looks like they've taken a few backward steps, perhaps it's not in long-term memory. We then fall into a bit of a trap though as instructors, because what do we do when we discover they can't do roundabouts anymore? We go back into instructing mode, don't we? And we prompt them and we question them. And that information then gets put back into their working memory. But it might not be from their long-term memory. What might be happening when you're prompting them and questioning them is that information from your long-term memory is going into the learner's working memory. And then it makes it look like they can do roundabouts again, and they do the next 50 roundabouts perfectly that lesson. But unless that information gets from their working memory into their long-term memory, learning hasn't taken place. So when a learner is doing roundabouts perfectly because we've replenished their working memory with the necessary information, they're giving us the illusion that learning has taken place. They're giving us the illusion, they're fooling us, that they know what to do. So we've got to find some ways of ensuring that the information that is in their working memory does find its way into their long-term memory. And that is about practicing recalling it. Okay, this is reason number 2. The information might be in their long-term memory, but they haven't practiced recalling it from their own long-term memory into their working memory. So all what I'm saying is based on a book called Uncommon Sense Teaching, and it uses a technique called learn it, link it. So we've got to practice applying or getting the learner to find a way to get information from working memory into their I can't even get my words out now. I'm forgetting what I'm saying. We've got to find a way to get the information from their working memory into their long-term memory. And this is perhaps a reason for multimodal learning, not just practicing it. Maybe get them to read something between now and the next lesson. Maybe direct them to some videos. Maybe get them to draw a diagram. Give them a blank sheet of paper or a blank whiteboard and a marker pen. Get them to draw a diagram. If we can find multimodal ways of getting them to think about the procedure for doing, say, a roundabout, it's more likely that it will end up in their long-term memory. So just to summarize, learning requires information to be stored in long-term memory, and it requires that the learner is able to recall it from long-term memory into their working memory. If they're giving you the illusion of knowing what they're doing and then next week they've forgotten, it's quite likely that it was you as the instructor that was filling their working memory that week, and they haven't actually transferred that information into long-term memory. Well, that's all for now, and we'll see you on another video very soon.